fitness Olympian, as well as an Air Force veteran. Laticia has been called one of the most dynamic and energetic personalities in the health promotion, body awareness, behavior change, community health and fitness fields. Laticia is a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority and a domestic violence survivor who has become an advocate for domestic violence, speaking all over the country at events to bring awareness and a voice to an often stigmatized topic, as well as the author of 4 books focused on women's health, wellness, and fitness. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Laticia Jackson to the JD Wellness stage.
Our keynote speaker, what would you like to talk about? And I'm like, I'm all about the power, right? And she was like, well, guess what? That's what this symposium weekend's about, the power within. So when she asked me to be here, I couldn't say no. Because at the age of 29 years old, I did not understand the power that was within me. And sometimes, even now, many of you may be sitting here in this room today, either denying the power that is in you, or afraid to unleash the power that is in you. At 29 years old, I found myself in my bedroom closet with hands around my neck. These were not the hands of a stranger. These were the hands of my ex-husband. The very man that vowed to love me till death did us part. However, he was not supposed to be the one that ended my life. As I sat with his hands around my neck and the air from my body began to leave, my life literally flashed before me. I asked myself, how did I arrive here? I'm smart, I'm educated, I at this time had traveled the world as one of the top fitness athletes in the world, and I said to myself, what am I doing? I know better than this. But then the other voice said, but you're broken. I had abandonment issues, I had rejection issues, I had codependency issues. See, all of these issues brought me back to my 13-year-old little girl when my father left. Something inside of me clicked and said, I am going to prove how valuable I am. I will never need a man and I will never need anyone else. And I am going to prove my worth. I was in magazine. I have been in Oxygen magazine, Muscle and Fitness Hers. I've been in Europe. I've been in Canada. I have competed across stages in the world. But on the inside, I was broken. I did not love myself. So as his hands began to tighten around my neck, I prayed. I said, God, do not let me die like this. After my prayer, he released his hands, smacked me a couple times. There were 4 guns in our house that night. My ex-husband was an avid hunter, and the only thing that would win in my mind is that he's going to kill me. But thankfully, God answered my prayer. He left the house. I called the cops. They searched for him, couldn't find him for 2 days. I get a call, and they say at the time my last name was Miss Bone. Mrs. Bone, we found your husband. The first thing I asked the cops was, is he okay? And the cops said to me, ma'am, your husband tried to kill you. But when you're operating from brokenness within, everything around you is broken. My titles didn't matter to me. The medals didn't matter to me. I knew that I was broken within. 2 days later, my family came to gather me. I went to Ohio. I woke up the next morning in my sister's bed, and I will tell you, I had a layer of shame. How could this smart, intelligent, fit, successful woman just almost lose her life? But I knew in that moment, if I didn't get real with myself about what was within me, either I was going to kill myself or somebody else was killing me. See, what happened was I thought power came from the outside. I thought power was found in the titles that I earned. I thought power was found in the degrees I earned. I thought power was found in all the TV presentations I did. But the reality was that was not power. For about 3 months, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was depressed. I was angry. And more than that, I felt ashamed. When I had to go to court to press charges on my ex-husband, I remember the judge saying victim number, and he read off this 10, long number, right? And I'm like, victim? I've never been a victim. So I remember waking up that morning in the bed and the word victim repeatedly played in my head. This went on for about 3 months. I didn't want to talk to family. I didn't want to talk to friends. But after 3 months, I woke up. And I said, enough is enough. First of all, I'm Laticia Action Jackson. I had to remind myself of who I was in here. I had to remind myself that all the time that I spent in the gym building these massive, beautiful guns. What I realized was it was not about the muscles that I was developing. It was about the mindset. It was about the strength that I was developing within. And in my depression and in my anxiety, I said, you will rise. You will wake up and you will take back your power. So what did I do? I went and signed up for a gym membership. I did. Because I started competing when I was in the military. When I was in the Air Force, I ran into a gentleman who was a bodybuilder. I didn't know anything about fitness. I didn't know anything about competing. And one day I was at the gym and he was like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, what do you do when I go work out? What do you do? Don't we all work out when we go to the gym? And he's like, you've got amazing genetics. Why don't you compete? And I'm like, compete in what? Boot shining? See who can iron the uniform the best? I'm like, compete in what? He's like, why don't you try to compete in a fitness competition? And see, I'm going to tell you, right? Since I was a little bitty girl, when you tell me to do something, and something in my mind said, I think I can do that. I was like, let's do it. Now, mind you, I had no clue what I was doing. So he trained me for 6 months. At 0500, I was up at the gym. At lunchtime, I was Heather welcome. I am not biased to the Air Force by no standards, okay? But what I need for you to walk away with today is this. If you ever lose your power, you can't blame your leadership. You can't blame your unit. You can't blame your ex-husband. Every morning you've got to look in that mirror and say, girl, you got it. Because I'm going to tell you, there have been days when I wanted to give up. Because the pain was so deep. It was so deep I couldn't articulate why am I in so much pain. But I'm going to tell you, I had to grow through the pain. Did you hear that? I had to grow through the pain. Many of you want to walk around it. It's like, ooh, don't want to deal with that today. Right? You find yourself in another unit, and it's still everybody else's fault. Because you're like, well, they've got a bad attitude. She doesn't support me. Right? The issue's in here. So I challenge you to do a couple things today. Take an honest assessment of yourself. When you are alone, are you listening to your own voice? I'm going to tell you, I used to hate silence. Somebody asked me why, so I can tell you. Somebody asked me why. Okay, I'll tell you. Thanks for asking. I hated silence because in that silence, guess what happened? Say it loud. Okay? And when you're left alone with your thoughts, what happens? Talk to me. Okay? Self-limiting beliefs. Come on, talk to me. You don't have to wear blue to talk to me. Give me something else. What happens when you're silent and you're alone? You start overthinking, okay? But I'm going to tell you what we do. We stay busy. How many, where are my busy bees at? I see y'all over there on the east side, west side. What's up, side? I ain't forget about y'all over there. What's up? How y'all doing? Woo, can I hear you? All right. I'll make sure y'all were awake. Because I'm actually Jackson. You don't have permission to fall asleep. I'm kidding. But when silence would come, all of these abandonment issues would come up, right? I remember not having a relationship with my father and saying, well, if I'm valuable, why did he leave me? And then all the issues of the past relationships I had, the bad relationships I had. I used to have this thing with time. If I were dating someone and they would tell me that they would be to my house at a certain time, I watched the clock like a hawk. And the closer it got to that time for them to arrive, I get anxious. And I never understood, because see, I was busy. I never understood why I got anxious with time. And as I began to heal, I realized that my father would tell us that he would be at our house at a certain time and he would never show up. So all of these issues began to come up. So today I challenge you to get alone. When this amazing two-day symposium is over, get alone. And when those thoughts begin to come, I'm going to tell you, the thoughts are there. You're just too busy to acknowledge them. It takes courage to dig deep within yourself, to acknowledge who you really are. Because see, that's the true definition of power. See, today I speak from a stance of power. I earned my power. You're going to earn your power. And that way, when somebody tells you who you're not, your power says what? Huh? Right? Because when you do the internal work, what happens?
You believe in yourself internally.
Yes. Okay? This weekend, you're going to get some amazing tools, resources, support. But I'm going to tell you what, people tell you knowledge is power. I don't believe that. Knowledge activated within you is power. Let me say that again. Knowledge alone is not your power. Knowledge activated internally is power. sit here all day and talk to you. I mean, because that's what I do. But it doesn't matter. When you leave out those doors, if you don't take some of the things that I've shared with you, what happens? What happens? Nothing changes. Do you know how many conversations I have with people from 10, 15 years ago, and they still tell me, well, I'm going to. I call it the finna syndrome. Y'all laughing because y'all know about the finna syndrome. I'm finna do this. I'm finna change my life. I'm finna go back to school. I'm finna go for this promotion. I'm finna get in shape for my PT test. Okay. Well, when are you gonna do it? Because you've been finna for a long time. And what I realized was, if I didn't get real in the now with myself, see, I couldn't finna get healed. I was like, I gotta get healed right now. What I failed to tell you was 8 months after I left my ex-husband, I found myself in another relationship with a different man, but with the same man. Let me say that again. 8 months after I left my ex-husband, I found myself in a different relationship with a different man, but with the same issues. Who was the common denominator? You. Who was the common denominator? You. So what is the moral of my story? This weekend, it's my hope and my prayer that something's going to ignite on the inside of you. And you are going to go back to wherever base you're at, and you're going to look in that mirror, and you're going to start looking at yourself. You're going to say, where is my power at? Have I given my power to my leadership? Have I given my power to my boyfriend, my husband? Because I'm going to tell you, your power never is found in anyone else. Today, baby, I am powerful. And I'm not powerful because of medals. I'm not powerful because of degrees. I'm powerful because I did the internal work. Is it easy? Is it painful? Yes. Is it worth it? You better believe it. So as I walk off of this beautiful stage, and I could probably stay on for another hour, I want you to be encouraged. I loved watching your clip. Thank you for your voice. Thank you for speaking up for women veterans. As a veteran, I often get told, oh, you served? And I'm like, don't you see all this blue? I look like a scarf. Of course I served. But we as women, and thank you men for being here, being our allies today, because I truly believe we will only go as far as you support us, so thank you. We still have a lot of issues, but I'm going to tell you what, there's no power in your silence. Let me say that again. There's no power in your silence. If you want to see a change, be the change within. Use your voice. Speak up for yourself. Confront the issues that you run from. And believe that the power that you have has always been within you. You just got to tap into it. Let me say that again. Power has always been within you. You just got to tap into it. So once again, I am United States Air Force veteran. Action Jackson. And by the way, I got Action Jackson from one of my training instructors. Okay? I value each of you. I see the power within you. Go today and see the power within yourself. I'm out.